Alright guys, this was meant to be a simple video. I'm actually losing my voice because I'm trying to record this again and make this as succinct as possible because I apparently had a lot to say in this, but I'm already off to a bad start. You guys can see the title of this video. This question came from a viewer who asked my opinion on a total gym versus a functional trainer. Which one do I think was better, kind of pound for pound here? I've done a lot of videos comparing a total gym to other forms of resistance training equipment such as barbells, dumbbells, resistance bands. Long story short, my personal opinion is I think a total gym is better, at least for my needs and goals, especially when you compare it for its use in a home gym. But I didn't compare a functional trainer, and I thought this would be good because I mentioned before that if I didn't have a total gym, if maybe that wasn't on the table, what other piece of home gym equipment do I think I personally would want to have? It definitely would be a functional trainer. Some people might call it like a cable crossover, but a functional trainer is more like a compact, angled version of a cable crossover. So I'm not going to give you guys direct kind of comparisons to a specific functional trainer. I'm not going to review any specific functional trainers or reference them, but I will link at least 2 or 3 down below in the description box of the ones that I would pick up, at least the ones that are relatively inexpensive. I've actually touched on them in a previous video, and as always, I will link down below other Sonic bench trainers and total gyms that I personally like and would recommend as well. Hopefully this video is somewhat relevant to you, especially if you're thinking about picking up a functional trainer versus a total gym, and you're building your home gym, thinking about adding in some other equipment, or maybe which one might be better if like your sole form resistance training. Like me personally, this is what I do most of my resistance training on. But regardless, if you're like me and you're already pretty happy and you're using a total gym, this would be another one of those videos to maybe share with other people who maybe don't have this equipment, maybe considering one machine versus another. This is going to be a very simple structure to this video. I'm just going to go over the pros and cons of each, and then my final breakdown or recommendation based on your particular situation. Jumping right into it, talking about the pros of a functional trainer. We have to get out of the way. There's all different types of brands, different budget points and price points, different attachments that come with it and capabilities, and just overall feels of different types of functional trainers are out there because there's just a huge array of companies. I'm just going to make the case on my general average experience that most of us have maybe experienced going to a gym on one of these machines, but probably if I'm doing that, it's going to be somewhat of a higher end model. But regardless, I'm just going to compare it to a generic experience of a functional trainer. So getting this out of the way, also, I just have to say I love this equipment. When I used to go to the gym, this was like one of the things I'd always loved to go onto, especially one of my favorite pieces, I said this in a previous video, was the Free Motion functional trainer. I used to do all sorts of crazy, wacky things on that thing, and I could hang out on that thing all day. So I do love this equipment. I have a nice soft spot for this equipment. I always thought it felt really good, especially certain machines like the Free Motion brand. I thought the tension and stress it placed on your muscles, which is a big thing I stress on this channel and why I love total gyms, just feels so good, so smooth compared to traditional free weights like dumbbells and barbells. Some of these points I'll get into that I personally love. You guys can probably appreciate this. I love the fact that there's so many different versatility, different angles and ways you can position yourself to make exercises a little more unique and also fit you to the machine. All the different attachments and ways you can maximize attachments on this equipment, ways you can essentially work your whole entire body in one little compact machine. And the fact that you can incorporate a weight bench into this equipment is also pretty cool. I never did that in the gym because it's always just kind of too just took a lot of work to do that. If I had my own little home gym, which I do, and I had a functional trainer here with a weight bench, I probably would take a lot more advantage of that. Another cool bonus of a lot of this equipment is that they generally serve kind of dual purposes. They can be like an anchor point for resistance bands. You can do some pull-ups on it, maybe even do like dips on it. If you like a dip station attachment, that's also a possibility. And I'd say for most exercises, like I said, if a total gym wasn't in the equation, I'd probably pick a functional trainer over a traditional like squat rack, at least for me personally, because I love all the different ways you can work your whole body. I love the way these exercises feel on your body. So I think you can do essentially everything with a lot of different versatility and creative ways. It's a compact way, like I said, to work your whole entire body in one little space. Doesn't take up a whole lot of room. You don't have to buy all this extra weight plates, huge giant squat rack or anything like that. You can kind of make do with it in a small space. You can also obviously work your lower body pretty effectively. It comes with a decent amount of weight for most people, so that's also a nice little plus. All right, now jumping into the cons of a functional trainer, there's probably 1 or 2 big ones that apply to most people, and the reason why most people don't have these, the reason why I never personally got one, is because 1, they are very expensive, at least somewhat pretty expensive. There are some cheaper ones they link down below. There are some options though, and they're also very big and very heavy to kind of move around. So I personally don't know what they really entail, putting them together and breaking them down. I can only imagine this would be very annoying to have to transport this stuff in your house. Let's say you changed your mind and you want to move equipment around, like I've done twice already in my own house. Especially if you had to move geographically somewhere and break this thing down and put it back together, that sounds really annoying. So for the most part, if you're pretty committed, like I said, physically in the space in your house where you're going to put these things, and also geographically, if you're going to think about investing this much money, the odds are you're probably not going to be moving anytime soon. Another con for me personally, even though I said I praise the number of exercise and stuff you can do, I've always found the more I've kind of been on these machines, I tend to want to be on them for a little bit, then I kind of want to get off, just because of that constant kind of like pull and angle. And that might sound kind of weird when I start comparing it to like a total gym, but even for things like squats and legs and just like hinging type patterns like deadlifts, you definitely can work your legs pretty good with this stuff. But I just find after a while that constant kind of like slight angled pull that you're always kind of working with just doesn't feel too good. I don't know why, at least for me personally. And I know also people have shared to me that like it just still aggravates and cause some joint pain, but also aggravate their back. Again, maybe because of the angle and the weight the cable's kind of pulling you. I would say those little cons are kind of minuscule compared to the two giant ones. Like I said, just the cost and how big they are. Now getting into the pros of a total gym or sliding bench trainer, obviously there's many. I'm going to be a little biased on this, but I'm going to make the comparison directly to a functional trainer. A total gym really does feel like it gives off the same kind of feel of a functional trainer in the way the kind of pulleys operate and just the way it's kind of working your muscles directly instead of like feeling extra stress and tension on your joints depending on the angle you're working at. But I find this actually pretty crazy when you consider that you're using your own body weight, not any external weight plates. Granted, you can add some external weight plates and tension onto this equipment, but I just find the first time I jumped on this equipment, I was always kind of surprised just how smooth it really felt and just how comparable it felt to a functional trainer. So that alone is something I always told people, even if they don't have a functional trainer, they're starting to build the equipment for their home gym, or even if they do have a functional trainer and they want to take advantage of some other stuff, it just makes sense to incorporate a total gym. A huge plus that I hear constantly from people, just made a whole video about this again, of how a total gym just somehow just feels so much easier on your joints. You just feel that tension directly on your muscles. I would say, again, even compared to a functional trainer, I still feel like that type of external weight pressure that you get, something about working on this glide board just dissipates that weight a little bit. So if you have injuries, any kind of musculoskeletal issues on any kind of extremity, shoulder, lower body, especially the back, people often told me that they almost had to give up resistance training altogether, even going to the gym, but somehow they can do a total gym no problem. A huge plus for a total gym that was the opposite of the con for the functional trainer is that they are much cheaper, especially those Apex models on Amazon. You can get them for like $200 something ish. Even the mid-level tier ones of the Fit or XLS I personally like a lot. Even those are much less expensive than compared to a functional trainer. They're much more easier to transport. They're not as big and bulky. You can move it around and change your mind wherever you want in your house. You can throw it in your car like I do. That's a little cumbersome, but you can throw it in your car like I do, go to the park, and you can completely collapse it, put it underneath your bed, or like I do, I still have a nice functional garage. Even though my garage gym's here, I can still move stuff out of the way and pull my car in. I find they're also another big pro is I personally find them very fun and engaging. They don't really get old. That might just be my personal preference, but I hear that from a lot of people. There's something about that constant rolling up and down motion, which again, it makes it a little more inviting, and that's the reason I promote this as a good, feasible type of resistance training, because most people have no problem just jumping onto it, throwing on some music. Some people even kind of listen or watch TV, whatever, and they kind of just do a great solid workout, and it's just very easy to kind of jump right into. Another huge pro that you could say is somewhat similar to a functional trainer is that they're incredibly versatile. Tons of different exercises you can do on it. I would say they're more efficient in the sense that you can really easily superset between exercises literally on the fly or on a dime. Functional trainer, you can definitely do it as well, but it might be a matter of kind of pulling some pins, getting some different stations on different types of the tower to kind of do some stuff. But with the total gym, it's literally everything, no matter how complex it is, might take you less than 30 seconds to kind of throw in an attachment and do a totally different body part. Now getting into the cons of a total gym, one big con for some people might be they just don't like sitting or laying down on the machine. Maybe they like standing up and being quote unquote more functional with a functional trainer, so that might be kind of dependent on you. Some of the things you can do in this equipment, I said there's tons of stuff you can do, but it might be dependent on your ability, just how comfortable you are, just your overall balance. So there's a kind of a learning curve and some skill of this machine that I think isn't always talked about, but I preach a lot in this channel, but that could be somewhat dependent again. So all the exercises that are available might be dependent on your ability. Obviously the weight and load difference is going to be a lot lower compared to a some sort of functional trainer, but as I've said in this channel many times, there's so many ways you can progress the machine: external weight plates, jacking the machine up, adding resistance bands. So tons of options to you guys. A con for me personally, there are some exercises I think I really can replicate in the machine, but I can't replicate everything. So I used to love doing like the ab crunch with like the rope on the functional trainer or cable crossover machine. Can't do that as much. There's some stuff like even just cable rotations I think feel really good. Standing cable rotations feel good. There are some stuff you can do. I don't know if I'll show it in this video. There's a lot of stuff you can do standing off the machine that you can do. So you can do some standing stuff behind the machine as well. But just more like dynamic, fluid multi-joint exercise, like maybe like a lateral lunge or rotation. Can't really pull that off too well with equipment like this. Now getting into the final verdict here, of course, if you ask me one versus another, I'm going to have a bias. I'm going to pick a Total Gym. I would honestly pick any model over any kind of functional trainer if I had to pick just one, even the most expensive functional trainer, just because I'm just so in love with the equipment. It just feels so fun to me. But that's probably one of the primary things I do like about it, because regardless about how expensive or awesome a functional trainer might be, I just have a lot more higher exercise adherence, even especially working out at home, using this equipment than I did with any external free weight. And that includes any kind of external free weight machine. But here are some things that I think a functional trainer would actually win out over a Total Gym. One, if you're looking to replicate that gym experience in your home, I think, yeah, it's going to make sense to pick up some sort of functional trainer. If you like doing more standing exercises, more access to like typical exercise you would find in a gym, again, going with that first point, then yeah, this is kind of going to win out. If you have a lot more space to work with, and if you got the extra money to kind of throw around, I would think, and I also consider his first two other points, I would definitely consider this. If you're someone who actually wants more weight, still wants that cable type feel, but wants to do stuff with more of a heavier load, and just likes having the ability to kind of throw some extra weight plates on there, then yeah, a functional trainer would also win out over a Total Gym. A Total Gym, I think, would win out over a functional trainer. Definitely if you're limited in budget, if you're limited in space, and also portability, no question, hands down, I wouldn't even blink an eye. I would tell people, get a Total Gym. You can do all the great things, at least all the big bang exercises on a Total Gym compared to a functional trainer. If you have any kind of low back pain, musculoskeletal injury stuff, again, I can't guarantee. Maybe a functional trainer might feel better. I think, honestly, based on my experience here for most people, Total Gym probably wins out. If you like faster paced workouts, you like supersetting, doing a lot of crazy stuff back and forth, again, like I do and stuff I've shown on this channel, then yeah, Total Gym's going to win out. If this just looks kind of fun and somewhat interesting to you, if you somehow just messed around with this at someone's house or some kid's basement when you were little, like I did the first time I was exposed to this, and just thought, yeah, there's something fun about just doing this stuff, you probably are going to like it. But definitely, even if you already have a functional trainer, you have a big gym, and you're someone who's just collecting gym equipment, which a lot of these home gym communities like to kind of do, if you don't have a Total Gym, I don't know why you don't have one. That's one of the biggest things that drives me nuts. I had a whole video talking about that. A lot of these home gym, garage gym type channels, I don't know why I don't see a Total Gym anywhere. You guys are really missing out on something that at the very least could supplement with your other stuff you guys got. And if you're like me and you're very much a minimalist, which I consider myself, very simple guy, I like to make things as simple as possible, then yeah, this is something you actually can work your whole entire body on and get great results. So definitely a ranty video. I haven't done one like this in a while, guys. With that being said, though, thanks for the initial question, and I will see you guys on the next video. Any questions, comments, feedback, let me know, and thank you guys again.